Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Minrick, and I'm one of the Habit Guys. We teach realtors prospecting habits so they finally become top producing agents. And welcome to the Realtor Habits Podcast, where agents don't need more stuff, they need better habits. Before we get into today's episode, I will let you know this episode is brought to you by our HabitGuys Instagram account. That's right. We all want to prospect consistently and be more organized. Well, to do that, you need to think, do, and act like a top producer. Watch us prospect live and teach you every week for absolutely free in our Instagram how to get expires listings, FSBOs listings, how to connect with your sphere, learn what to say over the phone to not sound salesy, but instead make friends. Watch the highs and lows that come with prospecting and get answers to your questions in real time. All you have to do is visit us at www.instagram.com/habitguys or follow us on Instagram and learn all the skills top producers use in their day-to-day business. If you know anyone that can gain value from this podcast, please do us a huge favor and share it with them. We're here to help as many realtors as possible, and we appreciate your help to do so. All right, let's get into today's episode. Today's episode is called You versus You Mondays. You see, part of our group coaching that we do with our students on Mondays, we take a moment and reflect on the previous week and try to understand what we can learn, what we can improve, understand what new goals we should set to make the next week better, right? And this is a very important process, right? This is essentially a way of building a growth mindset, understanding that failure, mistakes, errors aren't detrimental to your business, but in fact are valuable in your business if you can identify them and learn from them moving forward, because no one's perfect and mistakes are going to happen. So it's more important for you to learn from your mistakes than to give up when you have mistakes. So ultimately, we go through this process where we reflect on last week's objectives, goals, and then we set new objectives, new areas of focus, and goals for the week ahead. So we do this every Monday, right? Now this Monday, I decided to go a little deeper into a portion of our tracking document that we don't really talk about that often, which is called the distractions tab. And this distractions list is truly fundamental to growth, to improvement. Specifically when you get stuck, right? So what is a distraction? Well, a distraction is a thought, idea, worry, or people, or really anything that gets your focus off of prospecting when that's the intended action that should be executed, right? So the first thing that we need to do to improve is identify the problems, right? Self-awareness is critical. So what I've created is essentially a separation of some of the distractions by calling it the old you, right? So these are reoccurring distractions that we have to identify, such as maybe feeling disappointed. It could be that maybe your child called you and disrupted your time from prospecting. It could be that you felt some anxiety. Whatever the reason is, the key is that in this old you column, you want to write down what's getting in the way of you making calls, okay? So once you've identified what is getting in the way of you making calls, what is absolutely critical for growth to occur is recognizing or creating a process or a plan for you to attempt to prevent that distraction from happening again. So for instance, let's say it was your child calling you in the morning when you are intending on prospecting and it threw off the rest of your day. Well, what you can do, since in most cases it wasn't an actual emergency, right? In the case that it was an emergency, that's fine. But to be frank, there are very few emergencies that truly require our attention. So if it's just a your daughter or your son calling you, instead of picking up the phone and telling them and dealing with the situation, what you would do is you would set an expectation with them. So now on the new you column, right? So we have two columns. We have the old you on the left. We have the new you on the right. On the new you side, for that specific distraction, you are going to have a practice, or you're going to have an expectation, a task to inform your child that between the hours of this and that, you will not be picking up the phone, and you'll be responding to them at during lunchtime or at a later time. Okay, so that's the way you would deal with that. And then if there's an emotional, right? If there's maybe you're disappointed, maybe you're feeling anxious or nervous, right? You have some sort of self-doubt. What's really important with this old you column, because it's old you because these are stories, thoughts, and probably even bodily sensations that have been running through your life every time you intend to specifically prospect or something similar to prospecting. So what we need to do is we need to get very specific with those thoughts, with those feelings. So we can then create a process and, number one, recognize the reoccurring thoughts and feelings and bodily sensations. But number two, on the new you side, create a process for you to shift from feeling what you're feeling, right? Thinking what you're thinking, and getting back in control and getting back to prospecting. So ultimately, what this process does is it gets these feelings and thoughts that we keep in our head and we put it down on a digital form, right? The old you column and the new you column. We put it down on those individual columns. We provide a process to get through it. And then the last step is that once you've come back from feeling out of control, right? Because no one wants to feel anxious. No one wants to feel disappointed. No one wants to feel any negative feeling when it comes to prospecting. Otherwise, you're just not going to prospect consistently. Point blank, end of story, right? So what we need to do is we need to recognize ultimately you have a goal to close deals. You have a goal to be a successful agent, not only for yourself, but maybe to provide for your family and others. So the focus needs to change. Fundamentally, that's what needs to happen. When we feel these negative thoughts, anxiety, disappointment, some form of shame and self-doubt, we do not want to feel that. It's a pattern that is running within us that's been fostered over our entire life. So what we need to do, because guess what? Every single one of you listening to me right now, you can make change. I want to reassure you. I am 100% certain that everyone listening to you right now can make the change, can accomplish your goals. But to do that, you have to take action. You have to go from feeling out of control, right? Out of control is when you feel anxious when you don't want to feel anxious. You feel disappointed when you don't want to feel disappointed. You feel that shame or self-doubt when you don't want to feel it. That is being out of control. So ultimately, we need to get it out of our head, put it down on this document, and then once we've put it down, that's a cognitive effort, okay? That means now we're moving from this unconscious reaction to our environment, i.e. prospecting, to now saying, wait, I am going to make a intentional decision to write this down. And once you write it down, you're now back in control. Now, what's really important is this last step. And this last step is having a specific, detailed list of actions that gets you from starting to prospect to actually making that call. So let's say, hypothetically, you're using a Redx dialer. Maybe you would turn on your computer or maybe take it off sleep mode, log in to Vortex or Redx's website in the dialer, select a prospecting method, FSBOs, expireds, FURBOs, GeoLeads, what have you. Load the dialer, select load the dialer, and then once it loads, you would select the green dial button, and there you go. And now you're making a call, and once someone picks up the phone, guess what's going to happen? The habit that we all have in place, because we all have been using phones throughout our lifetime, is going to take place, which is you are going to talk. So fundamentally, this distractions strategy is absolutely fundamental for you to get from the old you to the new you. To accomplish any new goals, to move forward, you have to implement this process. If you feel that you are anxious, disappointed, don't have structure in your day, are scared of prospecting, feeling overwhelmed, this process is critical to your success. All right. So there you have it. That's the value of You versus You Mondays. I do encourage you to implement this process. If you want to learn more about the coaching that we provide and how we help our students, this is the time to do it. Go ahead and schedule a free coaching consultation. It's absolutely free, but it's only for those of you that are truly interested in taking your business to the next level. So go to HabitGuys.com/call. Again, that's www.habitguys.com/call, and go ahead and schedule that free coaching consultation. Hey everyone, before we wrap up today's episode, we have an exciting offer just for our loyal listeners. If you've been enjoying the content and finding value in our podcast, we love to hear from you. Here's the deal. If you leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, not only will it help us reach more real estate professionals like yourself, but we'll also send you a special thank you. Simply screenshot your 5-star review and email it to us at info@habitguys.com. As a token of our appreciation, we'll send you a signed copy of our book, The Habit House, absolutely free. This book is packed with all the strategies and insights you need to build powerful habits and take your real estate career to the next level. So head over to Apple Podcasts, leave that review, and claim your free signed copy today. Thanks for your support and for being a part of the Habit Guys community. In closing, here is the missing piece to your business. It's accepting that when you know better, you do not necessarily do better. You do better when you change your habits. Let us help.